Okay, we're going to do this. I cannot believe how hard it is to set this thing up with all the right microphones going into the VR chat so that you can get the mouth movements, and the microphone also go into OBS Studio so that you can get some voice, and they're all different. And then there's a webcam with its microphone, and it never ends. Anyway, I think I've got something going. I've done enough tests, and here we go. So let's turn off that. Okay, yeah, so here we are with the overlay onto Blender. And this is going to be a story of how I'm getting this body here to fit with this fursuit here. Oh, let's see all the rest of it. There's the rest of the fursuit, or the head part, with the head sticking out the top. More to talk about that later. And there's the mane as well. Goes over the top. That's going to be a whole other nightmare to come. So just keep a real good idea on the time so we don't overrun it, because we've got a bit to get through. So the issue is that I lined up the scan of my body that I'd made that was decimated, so it's not too horrible, with the fursuit and the head, so that the eyes were aligned, so I'd be able to see through it. At least I believe it. I had to shrink everything down by 1.5% to make that the right height, and so that the feet aren't like going to be miles off the floor, needing lots of padding. So I'm sort of like trying to fit it as closely to the avatar as possible, because, well, I don't want to take too many artistic liberties here. So let's start off. So first thing I noticed was that the obviously I was scanned, and so my head was slightly twisted, and also I didn't like my posture. I'm sure I'm not gonna let's get off the the main thing. There is the main. There we go. Put full body. Put the head on. Okay, so you see, I've actually already adapted it. Let's just go back and see what I did. Back. Okay, so probably don't want the teeth in there. Right. So what you first notice is, let's go a bit further. Okay, yeah, there we go. This is what I was trying to show you. Firstly, is you saw this pretty bad posture of my neck from too much sitting at the computer. I'm trying to deal with this over time, and that put my face straight into the poor old front. And so what I decided is that if I could improve my posture by about this much, we can make myself stand up properly. So you sort of grab it and then move it back, and it's sort of like that was the position I was going to be in. And then also another slight adjustment is I was slightly turned. So I got the body lined up with the body, but my head was slightly turned. So you can easily fix that by rotating it, and like so. So now that's going to be the state I claim I'm going to my posture will be. And then if I sort of lean my head forwards, the head of the suit is going to move forward as well, and it'll be more reflective. It's not going to be this thing where I'm going to be all bent up and twisted inside and the suit's standing up straight. That's not what we should have. Right. So keep an eye. Oh my goodness, time's running out. Right. So let's quickly get on with this. So one of the first things that happened was we need to deal with this suit, which doesn't fit the body particularly well. In particular, the shoulders are too low, and that's the nature of lots of avatars. Is that the eye down to the shoulder is much bigger than it is for a human, because we're kind of extending. You know, heads are often much bigger. So what we do is first divide the suit into half. I'm going to just take a break and do that. Right. We still paused? Oh, we're not paused now. Okay, so what we do here is I'm going to extend this guy up, and having realized that I've extended the guy up by instead of making the legs longer, which I probably should have done because there's a gap down at the bottom, I gone and made the, I don't know what the right thing to do is. I went and selected this middle thing, and what you do is you make a a seam, and then that seam allows you to select parts of the uh, surface of the triangles, which is quite important, because what we then do is we can then grab and shift in Y and just move him up. No, sorry, shift in Z. Grab and shift in Z and move him up by the necessary allowance to cover the shoulder, like so. Oh, see, I failed to select that guy as well. Okay, so now we go grab and Z, and we can move them up until we're above the shoulder, right? And then the problem with that is that this, let's get rid of that, is that that gets in the way of the main. Where's the main? There we go, right? Which is all that sort of fluff bits is now basically embedded in the body. And we have to find some way of moving this up so that it follows the contour. And for that, we're going to need a lattice modifier, which I will set up in just a second. One moment. Right, so here's the lattice modifier. So here's the main that's been um, uh, divided into two. It do the same sort of reflective thing, and you can see now through the half body how much of it's sticking in inside it and how little is like poking up the top. So you can't really trim it because that will look pretty terrible as well. You really want to do is just move this up so it fits underneath the head and sort of follows the contour properly. So what I did is we added in what's known as this lattice modifier. So it's a sort of object that's got a set of points and things, and the let's remove that bit there. And the main itself then has what's known as a modifier. What I've done is I've added the modifier and added the modifier, which is the lattice, and then drag that lattice thing into here. And that means that when I make changes to this, it'll make distortions of the main in the following way. So if we select the lattice and then go into edit mode, you'll be able to see if I take couple of rows here. You can also individually select the points if you want to take a lot of time. And I can just sort of move that guy up there and move that guy like so. So everyone seeing that? Yeah. So you can gradually, piece by piece, I mean, I've just selected right through the whole thing. So I wouldn't do that normally. Um, it is quite time consuming, a lot of spinning around trying to get the exact point, because sometimes you're selecting individual points and moving it in yeah, there we go, moving it a little bit in a sort of pleasing way. And over time I eventually get to the current state I'm in now, which I will move over to. Right, so a lot of tinkering with that lattice modifier. I managed to get the main maneuvered up into over the top and sort of going below the head. You know, it impacts it a bit, but you know, it should be okay. And you can see that not much of it's poking through because I've done a bit of adjusting the position of the body as well as moving each of these pieces outwards. And you'll also notice that it's lots of different colors because I've also been dividing these pieces of main into individual components. You can see, let's see, like that one here. They're all like separated out and named. Where'd he go? Yeah, so you can take that out there. And then here's another component here. I've got, where'd he go? Hit dot, there we go, like so. And there's another component. So these are individual components that I'm 3D printing. I've got most of it separated out. I'm now have to separate out this section here. So you'll see that the process is sort of, let me see, I take off the full body so we can see what's underneath it. The process has sort of been getting into this kind of thingy mode, and then selecting a couple of pieces like this. All right, that sort of goes not where we want, and then making making it as an individual piece like that, and then sort of you then have to build the wall between the two. All right, we'll just go through the process a little bit here. You then have to build the wall between these two pieces, usually by selecting a piece there and a piece there and filling it. You have to do this on both sides, right? And this is sort of going to be the face that is glued together using this special solvent. And I think I've already got it sorted out here. So if we um, like that, escape that, and sort of hide him, right? Let's go and hide him, right? You can see that he needs this face drawn up as well. So it's all about sort of matching the two faces so that they will sort of fit together like puzzle pieces, like that. And then after you've got those faces all fit together, you then start filling in the bottom, like so. You know, we're just going to do it really badly here. Yeah, you fill in the bottom. Sometimes you add a few extra nodes to make it a bit more concave. And that's then a piece which we're then going to 3D print, like all these others. What else was there? Let me just do me a think. Oh, one other mistake I made here is, so this is a fairly unusual circumstance in that I'm having my top of my head poked through the top of the skull of the fursuit. And I then stupidly just laid these pieces across the top, having forgotten that my head was going to be there. So you'll sort of see, if I slice it through, that a lot of that's winding up straight inside my head. So I've worked on this piece. I've sort of trimmed this piece back so it conforms to my head, and I haven't done it for this piece yet. But I discovered this after I printed all these pieces and stuck it together. So it's another test piece, I guess. So what was the other thing to mention? Oh yeah, the other thing is these lattice modifiers I've been doing. So although it's going to be like months, maybe well, a very long time before I actually get to the body. It doesn't mean I can't enjoy myself imagining I've got it working. So the body itself then has a couple of lattice operators on it. So let's have a little look at this lattice operator that's on the top half. Since my chest is a bit fatter than than it would be to fit this guy, so you can see how we apply the lattice. There we go. So you can see the lattice is sort of made him a bit fatter, just to fit the scan of myself in it. You know, so there's a bit more adjustments to do, but you know, the way you do the lattice, if we remember, it was we do that, and then we can select a couple of pieces here, and then grab it and sort of move it out like so. There's I'm not going to be able to like commit this. So you can keep this thing in sort of this editing mode for a long time before you actually commit it and then export it and turn it into the real model. That's what's kind of, I finally understood how Blender works with these modifiers and things. It makes it'd be nice if someone had told me this originally, how they apply. But let's just get rid of that and have a look. So that was that first lattice modifier, which I'm not going to finish off until I get a scan of myself with my arms like properly out. Yeah, properly out in the right angle to fit this, so I can see what needs doing and shortening and so forth. Because you know, if we're making a digital model or a digital model of this thing, it should be no fudging, and we don't need to because we can get all the measurements right theoretically. There's no need to do shortcuts really. Shortcuts just cost you in the end. Is the other lattice modifiers down here, because you can see the legs don't quite fit in for these digigrades. That's always a challenging thing. So I've got lattice modifier that let's just turn them off a bit. Okay, lattice modifier that sort of fattens the legs and makes them all fit, and the the feet, even the feet will fit somewhere. Oh, the bits of the like shoe will come just to the very edge. I don't know how viable that kind of thing is. Um, and I've made this too fat. I could keep tinkering around this for months, but I wanted to like preserve the waist because you see the original guy sort of had quite a nice slimline waist and it came out. And so when I added uh, my chest in there to make it fit, it kind of took away the waist, which I was unhappy with. So I tried to make it apply a waist, but that wind up making this guy so much fatter that maybe I don't like this. So I can mess around with this quite a bit. Yeah, there's also yeah the texture texture mode. No, that's not right. I've lost that. Forget that. Um, uh, yeah, that's about it really. Let me pause for a moment, see if I got anything more to think about. Oh yeah, goodness, where does all the time go? I try and do this quickly. So here's some photos of the 3D print of TPU. I'm going to go into a bit more detail about this once it's progressed a bit further. But this is a photo from the 3D printer. Let's see, and then we can go here, and you'll see him also on the printer when you can spy on the camera. This is a shared printer in an art workspace called Studio Lab. So I usually have to fight to get access to this, or one trick I tend to do is go in really late at night, and if it's not working, set one going off overnight, and hopefully no one's going to mind too much about that because I'm probably getting more than my fair share of this. Uh, this is about these are the pieces that before I put the concave part of the head, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5 pieces that are being glued together using this tetrahydrofuran stuff, which I should do some videos, some recording of it when I'm actually gluing it because it's quite fascinatingly. You can make a real mess of things and get away with it. Then you spray it because you can see we need to turn it nice and dark gray. And then after you've sprayed it, you can nice and paint it to get these sort of like, you can see the, I don't know whether I can move in closer. Can I? Let's just, if we can move in closer on here. Uh, yeah, there we go. There's those lovely tufts uh, right there, which I'm attempting to replicate. We don't get this sort of underwater effect, but and they're a bit spiky to say the least. But you know, let's see if we can go back. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah. So I guess that is where I better leave it. Beans.